Well, hello there, and welcome to the first episode of Back to the Clubs with me, Major K. I'm a DJ, producer, and record label boss, and in this series, I'm gonna talk to other DJs at length. As the show's title hints at, we're gonna dive into the club scene. What was the first club they've ever visited? What was their own best club gig? And by what other DJ's club performance were they blown away? Those are but a few of the questions I'll be asking every week, and I can tell you this already, the stories that have followed on those questions are really great. I recorded a couple of the interviews, they're in the bag, so in the next weeks expect amongst others JD of Plastic Dreams fame, Vanilla Ace, aka DJ Sam Young, Lucky Jesus and Greg Knox, and today's guest of course, AM.I. But before we dive into that talk, a couple of things perhaps. If, for instance, after the show you want to stay up to date, don't forget to subscribe in your podcast app. So as soon as a new episode drops, you'll get notified and have it right there. Do give it a rating too if you think it's any good. That apparently helps to get more people to discover the podcast. And if you're really fond of Back to the Clubs, you can support the show by going to our Patreon page. patreon.com/officialmajork, where you can get bonus content. You can get the show without all this blah-de-blah for one, some extra answers that didn't make the podcast, free music downloads, etc. If you don't want to go that route, that's fine. Already really glad you'll be joining us every week, but do check it out, would be ever so grateful. Okay, so now that's out of the way, let's focus on AM.I. She's a DJ and producer located in Antwerp, Belgium, playing and making melodic techno tracks. I had the honor to have her as a guest DJ during my label's Flashing Thursdays streaming sessions last year. You can still find her great set on our YouTube channel. She's ambitious, trying to get there one step at a time. We talked about a weird last edition of Amsterdam Dance Event, or ADE as you'll hear us call it, and the difference between crowds in Belgium and Berlin. Yeah, I know I'm comparing a country to a city, but hey-ho. There's AM.I's connection to nature and the Flemish word KNALDRANG. Oh yeah, and you might notice my voice sounding a bit different in the interview recorded last week. Well, I got the sniffles due to COVID right now, that's why. No worries though, I'm boosted, so didn't suffer too much and getting better every day. Anyway, it was a great conversation with AM.I, so enjoy the show. Here we go.
Back to the Clubs with Major K.
Glad to be joined on the first edition of the Back to the Clubs podcast by none other than AM.I from Belgium. Hello, AM.I. That's a strange name to be calling you, but
Yeah.
what can I call you? Can I call you Carissa?
You can call me Charissa, no problem.
Okay, Charissa, welcome in this first podcast episode. How are you doing?
I'm good, very good. Yeah, enjoying studio time. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, I think especially in Europe, as a lot of the clubs are closed at this moment, that the studio time it's the right time for studio time.
It's the best time for studio time at the moment. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. For people who don't know you, you're operating in the techno genre, but in the melodic sense, melodic techno. Yeah, why that genre? Why does that please you so much?
The thing is that I see the crowds have been going out in techno scene for a long time right now. And I've seen that a good combination of a good rolling bass and good low end with cute melodies and nice melodies and melodies people can relate to, have a broader crowd and they enjoy it much more than a lot of other kinds of genres. So for me, I chose that one that it relates to me.
Yeah, and I guess that's for you it's important as well to have the melodies, the big bass and the really great thumping bass, but
Yes.
at the other end the good melodies as well, right?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Because that's reflected in the tracks that you put out as well, huh?
Yeah, I've started very melodic with my first releases on Natural Productions, which is a cool label, and the label manager, it was also my mentor during my first process of production, which is always cool to have somebody who supports you in your first steps into production and labels and managing. And from then on, I kind of started following my favorite artists, which are like Victor Ruiz, Alex Stein, and they have this balanced thing going on between rumbles and kicks that are really, really hard, and having those layers of melodic pads and synthesizers going on. And I started doing that and growing into this right now still, which is a cool journey to do.
Yeah, and growing towards other labels as well. I think your last release was on Cuckoo Records,
Yes.
which is a big deal, right?
It's a big deal. Yeah, it was kind of an unexpected release because of Miss Mina. She's she's been doing it super great. She started her label a couple of years ago. She has been in first she was helped with her husband, of course, Mr. Kalkbrenner.
Yeah, Paul
But now
Kalkbrenner,
she's
yeah.
Paul Kalkbrenner. But now she's like going forward with her own label, and she's been doing immensely great. She has been getting more and more bigger artists on the label as well, and she combines them with new unexpected talents. I was on a compilation, the Passengers compilation, with three other immensely talented artists who have been growing to other labels as well, like Tronic, Christian Smith's Tronic, Drumcode, and stuff like that. So these people who are on there, she really knows how to pick them well, and I've been so honored to be on the compilation.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it gives a lot of opportunities, I think, no?
Yes,
To
definitely.
be in that kind of crowd, to be compiled with other artists that are really well regarded really highly.
Yeah, and the amazing thing about the release was that I've been doing releases on a couple of labels right now, and this release in specific, due to the compilation, it was a huge support from all the artists. We were in contact through Instagram, through socials. We were talking to each other, supporting on each other, sharing everything. So the crowd and the following expanded immensely, and yeah, it was super cool to hear from other people who are doing the same thing as you, how highly regarded they think from you, and then and the other way around, that
Yeah.
you are like experiencing new sounds with other artists, and they are supporting you. It was a huge success. It was really nice to do. Yeah,
Yeah, and
definitely.
that's encouraging for the future, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so we've talked about the music. Now it's time to go back to the clubs. Let's lay the map. What clubs have you played at? And I mean, not necessarily pointing the clubs out, but like geographically, have you remained in Belgium because you're a Belgian artist, or did you have the opportunity to go abroad? What's that like for you?
I think that's a fun question, because I always have to answer it like reversed.
Okay.
For me, the thing was that due to Corona, I had the experience to go with a new management, which I've never been there, but this management is pretty international already with some pretty cool artists. So for me, it went kind of backwards. I was playing abroad more than I was playing in Belgium. So from 2022, when everything opens up back in Belgium, I'm gonna start like playing more here in Belgium to
Right.
have the Belgian crowd, and to make it a little bit more of a base here.
Yeah.
But I've played recently in ADE Amsterdam. I played Berlin recently, and we are looking for future clubs in India, in yeah, all across the world. So a lot of cool things to go and happen. So very excited.
Yeah, how was ADE? Because it was a special edition this year, as yeah, the really the official program was cancelled, which was a bummer, and which was a
It
bit,
was a bummer.
and it was a bit weird as well because like everyone was there anyway, but then the official program that would have been in a controlled environment couldn't go on. Yeah.
No.
What was the sentiment over there?
I've played in. You could see that, like, because of the bigger events being cancelled, you saw a kind of shifting towards like more multiple small ones. Like a lot of cafes and a lot of bars were like gathered for multiple days behind each other, multiple events, like in smaller groups. I played in one of the bars in the center, and it was very cozy. The fun thing was that I was there 2 years before when I when I released on Ballroom Records.
Hmm.
These guys were doing their event there, and then 2 years after that, I was playing the same bar, which was pretty funny because I didn't know it was the same bar. So it was pretty nice. These guys that had me, Techno State, they are planning to do some cool events later on this year as well in Holland.
Yeah.
So it was nice to play for them and to play for a nice unknown crowd in a small, very confined space, which was cool.
Yeah. Going back through your history, what was the first club you ever went to? And so I really mean, not as a DJ, but as a club goer and a dance music aficionado. What was the first club that you went to?
That would have been Café d'Anvers here in Belgium, in Antwerp, actually.
Hmm.
Antwerp has a rich techno scene, actually, compared to other cities in Belgium, except for Ghent, maybe, and Brussels. But it used to be this old church, which was only transformed to this cool techno club with huge names across the world came there, from Kolsch to Joris Voorn to Adam Bayer. All the great ones played there. And yeah, I went there. I think one of the first was Kolsch that I saw there with my friends. And a local DJ played before that. Chantal, she used to play there.
Yeah.
I got to know her as well. So she kind of took me all the way through the techno scene.
Yeah.
And yeah, because of those two amazing sets, I was totally immersed into techno, and like 5-6 years ago, I think, and then it all started again.
Yeah.
So
And it was,
pretty
yeah,
cool.
it was really because the club is closed now, but it was
Yes,
really great atmosphere over there, especially when thinking about what the venue had been. You said it was a church, but it was really huge, and with all
it was
those different
huge.
layers and
Yeah.
after rooms and smaller
Oh
rooms
man,
and
and
the
then the
main room, and
lasers.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was an amazing, yeah, club to be in for the first time, as well as the people going there. It was very nice to have local crowds there,
yeah,
with a mixture of international people always. It was a very good vibe. I really liked it.
yeah. What does, in your opinion, a good club need to have to excel?
Well, from my point of view as a DJ, a good sound system. It is. It is. It's horrible to be playing without monitors that are like screechy or making bad sounds,
Mhm.
and also being in the crowd, having ear plugs that are not sufficient because of the bass is badly
Yeah,
adjusted.
yeah,
Stuff like that. I hate it when you're in a club and you cannot hear melodies and high and mid frequencies, producer wise speaking, for those who know.
sure.
But yeah, I think a really good sound system adjusted to the room, even if it's a basement, if it's a church, if it's a long, huge, like Compass in Ghent, a long, huge hall, like it needs to be adjusted with the right acoustics. And as much as the DJ is important, the light jockey as well. I think good lightning on the rhythm with the bass,
Yeah, someone.
creating the atmosphere as well.
Yeah, someone who's really invested in the music and really, he's not just a button pusher. He's
Nope.
someone who really
Yeah.
feels the music and can
Yes.
express that in
Yeah.
light,
Definitely.
right? Yeah,
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's something that you had, for instance, at Café d'Anvers.
I kind of knew the Leitchiki of Club Vaag a bit more,
Oh,
actually.
okay.
This young fella who was pretty much doing building stages.
Hmm.
He went from lightning once a night in a weekend to being the responsible for a couple of clubs here in Belgium and in festivals. He's really known. And the guy even slept on my couch for a while because he needed to go back and forth.
Right.
But up until this day, I think is one of the best Leitchikis there is. And even Charlotte de Witte mentioned him in an interview
Oh,
because
cool.
he's
Yeah.
so, he feels the music. Doesn't matter if it's house, if it's techno, if it's another kind of genre. He really feels the music, and he's always on point, making like, you can go into a break, but he makes it like that extra more
Yeah.
to get the crowds ready for the drop, and it's amazing. It's
Yeah,
amazing
to get them in the fields,
to get them
so
in
to
the
speak.
field. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay. What's the most memorable DJ set you've ever seen in a club, and why? So it's from another artist than yourself. You've been to a club, you've seen this guy or this girl play, and you say, "Wow, this is amazing."
Yeah, there is only one answer to that one, and that it's Victor Ruiz in Watergate in Berlin. Um, I've been following him from the beginning of my techno producer days, so not before, but when I started producing techno, this guy, he's now even teaching classes during Corona. He's amazing.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. If you want to have a good master class, he's going to start groups lessons. He's amazing. Um, he played at Watergate one night, and I asked a friend of mine if we could go, and they were going for a weekend, but I could not because I needed to be back on. I think it was Saturday morning or noon to start, like, yeah, doing working again.
Hmm.
So we left on Friday morning with the car. We drove there. We ate. We went into the club because the thing why I wanted to see him was he was doing an opening set. And
Oh,
for
really?
me, yes, he was pretty famous, but to do an opening set is one of the hardest things there is. I think if you can do that and get the crowd from 10 o'clock or like 11 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the night, and you have a full-on dance floor within half an hour,
Yeah.
yeah, that's magic. That's something talent that you then. And we went there, and we were there all night, and my friends at like 3 or 4 o'clock the set ended, and some the other DJ took over. It was one of the best sets of my life. I had to go back to the airplane at 5 o'clock in the morning, took the airplane back to Belgium, but for me that moment is still the most memorable and worth. Yeah, I've never seen a DJ do that. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Really
Yeah,
incredible. Okay.
really incredible.
Yeah. And for yourself, what's your best club experience as a DJ
Must have
so
been
far? Because
so far.
the best is perhaps yet to come, but
Definitely. Ha- I think for the club it would be Berlin.
okay.
As I've not have been able to play in a lot of clubs here in Belgium due to Corona and the ongoing problems with the clubs here in nightlife here in Belgium.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
think it's going to change anyway. But
Hmm.
Berlin was an experience on its own to see a crowd that you don't know, and you can tell that Berlin techno and Berlin clubbing is still that different from other countries.
Yeah.
I've been to many countries and went for dancing and stuff like that, but Berlin has its own clubbing. Um, I don't know, history, and you can feel that it's accepted there to go clubbing from Thursday until Monday, and clubs
Right.
are open, and
Yeah.
everybody is happy on the dance floor. Everybody's respectful, and yeah, the crowd was. I played my first track, and the crowd was immediately gone, and it took them all night, so it's good.
Yeah. So the crowd was even more receptible, or yeah, wanting to have those techno beats than perhaps they are here in Belgium, or well, there's a dedicated crowd. Let's say it like that.
Yeah, it's and Belgium has a dedicated crowd.
Sure. Yeah.
They do, but you can play sometimes. A crowd in Belgium needs different kind of techno tracks than a crowd in Berlin, for example. A crowd for Berlin, you can make special tracks that like have a little bit more of an eclectic feel. You can put them in your set because they know this. They are known and they really like it. That you change a little bit in variation in your set. Not that I don't do that in Belgium, but you can see that the Belgian crowd has its ways of dancing and going up and down and up and down, and I like that because
Yeah.
it has a
Yeah.
lot of energy. But
Sure.
that night in Berlin, there was this more flowy
Yeah.
sense in my tracks, and yeah,
And
it was
which
a bit
club
better.
exactly was that?
That was Club Brigitte und Bier. It's also in the club center near Watergate and the bigger ones. The cool part of Berlin, it has a lot of smaller clubs,
Mhm.
couple of bigger clubs, but not more than thousands and thousands. It's not like it's huge. They have crowds, maybe 1,000 people, maybe even that, a couple of hundred of people. So it makes it very cozy when you can see who is on the dance floor, and
Yeah.
that's super cool.
Okay. Well, when possible, we should go there and have a
Definitely.
good party night again.
Yes.
What is the club you've been to most?
Yeah, Club Vaag here in Belgium. So Vaag is it's a Dutch word for like a little bit like hazy and in
Shady.
a
Yeah.
shady.
Yeah.
And this club is a real basement, like basement, and it's like techno in its fullest. Yeah, from dusk till dawn, it's real techno. And I was there for a lot of times because they brought a lot of unknown artists as well.
Hmm.
And I don't know, it always felt like home coming there. And the club floor was how do I say that? Like you could go there all night and nobody would care what you were dancing or how you would be dancing, or if you were energetic dancing or not energetic dancing. Doesn't matter. It was always fun. And I hope to be playing there in February maybe, but it's a little bit tricky still. So
Yeah.
we're still waiting for that moment.
Hope for those clubs here in Belgium to
Yeah,
reopen real soon, because there's this Dutch word. It's knaldrang. Perhaps it
KNALDRANG.
yeah. It's perhaps it yeah, in English, how would you say that? Yeah, I
The
don't
thing
think
is,
there's no
that's the
word for this.
translation. No,
No.
even Joyhauser brought a track to Filth on Acids. Rennie Zonneveld's Filth on Acid.
Yeah.
They made an EP, Knaldering. So it's
Okay.
it's 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 it's
That's
it's
right.
fun. You cannot translate the word because
No,
it's
no,
a
no.
world on its
It's
own.
it's something really unique, and we should export it to all other countries.
Yeah,
Knaldrang,
definitely.
and
Knaldrang.
have that sentiment brought over to people who are speaking Spanish, English, whatever. Knaldrang is the word to go really clubbing in
Yeah,
a good fashion.
ready
That's
to go, ready
yeah,
to go.
ready
Yes.
to go.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, 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 definitely.
Yeah, you've been around in the club scene for a while now. You've been talking and meeting a lot of people that are in that scene. From those people, do you hear like good stuff about one club in particular? One club that's supposed to be the best in the world?
Not the best. No, they don't never talk about the best. Everybody has its own opinion about a feeling and how a crowd should be and how a club should be. And but in general, what is known when I go abroad, and we talk about Belgium night scene, they pretty know Compass, for example, because of its international character and the international names that played there.
Yeah,
It's also one of the bigger clubs here in Belgium. I think 5,000 or even more,
yeah,
5,000
it's
people. It's
really
it's it's really
huge.
big.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's huge, and now it's moved, so they're looking for a new location.
yeah,
But if you talk to people abroad, that's the one they know. And if you start talking about Café d'Anvers, they said like, "Ooh, I was there or I've been there. How is that club?" And then yeah, you start the conversation that it's closed now.
yeah,
But Compass is known because of its huge, like Berghain. I don't know if
yeah.
people went to Berghain already.
Uh-huh.
When you enter that club, this is techno. The huge ceilings, the huge walls, the huge sound system, the warehouse feeling. It's there, and
Yeah.
and and that what makes techno in a way. The
Does
the
that
the
does that impress you when you go into a club like that and see that environment and you say, "Whoa,
Yeah,
what the hell?"
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
It's yeah, definitely you have the feeling like the especially, you can be in a club and the music is on and you hear it, but when you in this warehouse feeling, when a kick falls, it has this huge echo, reverb kind of thing going on every time the kick drops, and that's what makes the people, like you're in a church and you hear the preacher preach, and
Hmm.
his lines echo for like 100 meters and meters, and that's what you have in that kind of club, which also makes it cool. It's like when you were in Café d'Anvers and you looked up, you saw the church going up. It's this commune feeling of hugeness.
Yeah, and being able to have that feeling with a lot of other people, I guess.
Yeah, we do miss it. Like, I think a lot of people
We
feel it
do.
right
Yeah.
now that you cannot. A lot of the media and general public doesn't know what this kind of community that techno brings.
Hmm.
It's not only about the partying, the dancing. It's about the people that you meet and the people that you talk to and dance to, and the one time that nobody judges anybody on race, preferences, sexual orientation. We're all there on the dance floor, just doing our thing, and that's what is music for me and makes music going on. That's the thing. That was what clubs bring. So
Yeah. Almost nearing the end in the
uh,
questionnaire. um, this is one perhaps you need to think about, or perhaps not. In which club do you really want to play that you haven't played in before? And this can be different from, I don't know, have you played in Compass yet? Because you
oh
were,
no,
no.
no.
So, but Compass, it's a possibility. But if there's another club apart from Compass, in which club do you really, really, really want to play once in your lifetime?
Hmm. Yeah, actually, there are two.
Okay.
And they both have the same concept, actually. So I would prefer to play in Watergate in Berlin. um Not, you have two rooms, like the main room with where all the bigger ones play, but yeah, 500-600 people, and then downstairs there's this small room, and the behind the DJ it's all glass, and there's the river. And in the
Oh,
morning, I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen the pictures and I know it from people when I was there, people talking about it, that the sun rises behind the DJ. So when you're playing a morning set from 5 till 7, for example, from 5 till 8,
yeah.
the DJ is lit by the sun.
Oh, that must
So
be really
there
cool.
must be a kind of energy that's not to
Yeah,
be chosen anywhere else,
yeah,
because you're always in the dark, and then the feeling when you come out of the club, oh no.
yeah. Yeah, know that feeling all too
We all
well.
know
Yeah.
that feeling. But and then there is this other club, and I think it's gonna be there because my management is from Brazil, or they have their Spanish, but they also have a
Hmm.
Brazilian part,
Hmm.
and it is the Warung Beach Club. And
Okay.
Warung Beach Club is very, I don't know, a lot of people know maybe Pukkelpop, the boiler room. It's like this huge tent that goes all the way to the back.
Yeah.
And with Warung, it's kind of the same. And at the end, it's open. And then you have the beach. Also,
All
the same
right.
concept. When
Yeah.
you're playing a morning set, you can see the
Yeah.
sunrise behind the crowd.
Yeah.
And I've been happy to be mentored by one of the DJs that's played there, producer that's played there, Alex Stein. He's an amazing guy. He's still helping me out, and he's played there before, and we talked about it, and he said, "Yeah, it's one of a unique experience."
Yeah.
So those are the clubs that are on my list, both with
Yeah.
sunrise.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of feel that connection with nature somehow.
Always, man, always. It's
Yeah.
nature is like, even when you have to. I live in a city center, and once in a while I need to go out and walk into nature because it's like re-energizing in a lot of ways. Also, producing, you can see it a lot with the melodic and the deep house artists. A lot of artists go into nature and record their sounds. Also, if you have, for example, if you're producing with this plugin, A lot of the plugins, I don't say about the bass plugins, but like plugins that have pads and stuff like that,
Yeah.
they are also recorded in huge spaces outside, inside,
Right. Yeah.
to
Yeah.
create an atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's always linked to nature or something warehousey, or it has its connection. I don't know why we feel as people when we see a sun or when it's dark during the winter, we
Mm.
always feel less better
Yeah, yeah,
than
yeah. Different and
different.
yeah, and less energetic perhaps because
Yeah,
like it kind of drags you down a bit,
yeah, the
and when the
vitamins
sun
are not
shines,
there.
yeah,
Yeah, the
it's
vitamins
all
are
about the
it's all
vitamins.
about the vitamins, man. No, but I can see it, definitely. It's I for me as a DJ, I love playing on festivals more by day than in a club. I also hate going to a club in the middle of the night, need to wake up from my sleep and go to a club and be there. Like, if I'm
Yeah,
gonna play in the clubs, I'll be bringing my coffee from Starbucks. Definitely, it's gonna be a Starbucks moment for me to be
yeah,
be
yeah,
playing in a
yeah, yeah,
club.
yeah,
Well, whilst I've played the last year, before Corona, I've played on festivals, uh, outside, sun shining, people dancing. It's a total different vibe. People wearing their sunglasses, smiling. It's always this kind of special touch for
yeah,
me.
yeah. Okay, well, that's
Yes.
about it for
Yeah.
Back to the Clubs, this first episode. There's one
Thanks.
more question. Where can people find you in the near future? Do you have anything to say about that already? Because as we talked about earlier,
Yes.
it's tough times here in Europe and Belgium, certainly, where the clubs are closed. So, what can people expect from you? Where can people find you in the upcoming months?
The upcoming months will be, as told, a lot of releases, international releases, and we are seeing when we can. We are planning to do Berlin, internationally in other countries. For Antwerp, I can say I was going to do some stuff in February, and probably in the summer. Definitely, I'll be booked on a lot of places, festivals.
Yeah,
But for now, it's so unclear that promoters, even not, except for the bigger ones, of course. I'm not gonna tell that, but for the promoters to
yeah,
get these kind of artists right now, it's really difficult. So I cannot tell anything for sure right now,
yeah.
unfortunately.
So I think the really good message to people listening now is check out the socials, check out the
Definitely,
website of
yes.
AM.I, and see where she's at, and check those releases in Beatport, in Spotify, iTunes, wherever you can have the music, and support artists, because it's really important
Yeah,
as
that
well.
would be very great. Yeah, cannot wait.
Thanks for being our first guest in Back to the Clubs.
You're
I hope
welcome.
you enjoyed your chat here
Yeah,
with us.
definitely. Always nice chatting with you.
Okay, well, see you real soon. And yeah,
Yes.
thanks again for being here.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Well, that was a nice chat, don't you think? Chill, ambitious, and positive she is, just the way we like it. So check where she's at on her socials. You can find the links to those in this episode's description. There you'll also find a link to support the show. If you do, you can get extra content, like in this case, AM.I and I ponder a bit about festivals. Check it out. Oh yeah, and if you'd be interested, we have some t-shirts and hoodies made for the show as well. You can get those on flashinghotshop.com. That's a fresh online store for dance music merch. And to celebrate the kickoff, there's a 10% off for a short period of time on all Back to the Clubs merch. Go have a look, the link is included in the show's description as well. In the next couple of weeks, we'll be having Lucky Jesus and JD as guests, but next week it's Vanilla Ace, well-known British DJ and producer, who played at the weddings of George Clooney and Idris Elba. Subscribe to not miss out on those stories. Well, that's it for now. See you next time and enjoy the sunshine. Bye bye.
Back to the Clubs with Major K.